Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species. Chronologically, it's February 6th. It's in the 50s outside. I don't think we'll ever see snow for a long, long time. And this interview has been in the works for a long time because I'm with Reggie Miller. Sometimes he's the other Reggie Miller from basketball. He's also basketball. I'm just so thrilled the universe and people got us together because we share a bunch of commonality. Reggie's an Orange, New Jersey guy, and I used to was all state basketball. He'll tell you about that. And I used to shoot hoops in Orange, Scotland Road. So back in my day, so I was a BBall player too. So we get that. We got Rutgers. And the work that Reggie does with the Brotherhood and with RM Motivation, it's beyond. But the most important thing is, Reggie, we're going to talk all about that. Is Reggie had a 5-second career at Rutgers? It was the last practice. He'll tell you all about that. The last practice before the season began, and there was a little bit of a collision with a player, and he got paralyzed. He was paraplegic. And as he says in one of the most eloquent statements I ever heard, was the only thing he could feel were the tears rolling down his face. That's powerful stuff. Reggie is an amazing, I'm just saying it not because you're there, but no, the work you do, amazing. Yeah. We're gonna delve into all of that, and most importantly, as we do a wrap, when this interview is done, you all will be treated to a 19-minute video done by Reggie Bullock from Greatness 5. And that's 5 seconds, the Reggie Miller story. I've watched it about 4 times already. It's great stuff. Reggie Bullock does a wonderful, amazing documentary. So that's going to come on right after this. So everybody just kind of hang on and watch that. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. So I'm done with my little bit of a monologue. Reggie, say hello, little intro, and then I've got a million questions to ask you. Take it away.
Let's go. First of all, thanks a lot, Mr. Swartz. I appreciate you. I'm glad we finally got to meet. I met you before through my other brother, our RU brother, Mark Peterson.
Right.
And I never forget certain people, when you meet them, you shake their hand, you never know when they might cross paths again. And I had a strange feeling about you. I knew you was a Rutgers guy. You bleed red and black. I get it. I feel the same way. You was at the game, so I'm glad we're here. And I'm glad I tapped you to say, hey, listen, here's my story. Check it out. And I didn't realize, you had so many tentacles out here with people and the things you do. So I'm forever thankful for you and that too. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Oh no, I am so excited about this. When you get really excited about something, you got to really believe in it. I believe in you. I believe in your journey, and I'm amazed at your story. It's like a wow. So we're gonna just kind of tiptoe through your life. You were born in Newark, and that's another thing that I'm a Newark guy. You're a Newark guy. You were born in '67, like during the riots.
Right. When it went down, I heard stories from my family. We lived on South 18th Street, right around the corner from West Side High School, right there by the graveyard. And the stories I got, we left when I was around 2.5 years old, somewhere around there. We left to move to Orange. So I'm an Orange guy by heart and soul. I'm an Orange guy, born in North though. Okay. And after the riots, my father said, "Hey, listen, we gotta go." He wanted to keep us safe. We moved to Orange. Beautiful Chapman Street behind Central Avenue over there by Orange Park. I had a great upbringing. Family was well raised with my mother and father. Values, church. Every Sunday, you had to do what we had to do. Didn't feel like going, but you felt good on the way home. That's how I felt church was. Sundays in the summer going to Ashbury Park. So we had a nice, my father was present. My mother was super present. So I have no complaints in terms of family. My brothers, Rod, my brother Stefan, and I lost my younger sister Alshon to lupus. But our family structure was really tight.
Okay. In all my research and stuff, your mother did some amazing. Your mother was amazing, and such an influence in your life. But I got a kick out of reading that your mother taught you how to be coordinated.
Yeah, I remember being young, like 3, 4, just before, going to school, and she would be in the living room exercising the Jack o' Lane with the little dog. I remember all this stuff from television. And she would just make me, because I was a tall, kind of gangly kid. I grew fast. You know what I mean? Me and my brother was dressed as twins, and we're 3 years apart. So people thought we were twins. My mother would buy just same outfits for me and him. And people thought we were twins. I was like 5 years old. He was 8 years old, and we were the same size. And then I started getting bigger than him. So she couldn't dress us as twins no more. And she just always made me dance, made me flow, made me understand music, things like that. She loved to dance, and I would dance with her in the living room, and it helped, especially growing up. I wasn't the wallflower guy.
Right.
I like music, I like dancing and moving. I don't want to be I don't like the stereotype of the tall, awkward guy. You know what I mean? Standing on the wall. That wasn't me.
Well, we're the same height, you know. By the way, we're the same height. But by the way, I'd love to shoot hoops with you one day.
Okay. We
One
can do
day
it at the rack. One day at the rack. Game
yeah, I'd
over.
love that. I'd love that.
A game of horse.
So I'd love that too. No more one-on-one. Those days are over for me.
Yeah.
It, your mother was such a visionary because she saw how important it would be to be coordinated. You were growing tall, and so you grew, and then you played b-ball for Orange High, which were pretty good teams.
That was a big deal. Orange High got a great tradition of high school basketball, especially in the late '60s, '70s. I arrived in '82. Our team really wasn't good, but we had some good young players, and we were starting to gel together. My brother Cleo Hill, I played with. He's coaching now down at Winston-Salem. And Cleo Hill Jr.
Wow.
He's coaching at Winston-Salem. His father was the great Cleo Hill Sr.
Wow.
Me and him played together years. We just stayed on the blacktops of Orange Park Central Playground, and other guys I grew up with. It was just a plethora of players and athletes around Orange to where I didn't even realize my potential until I was around 11th grade, 12th grade, because it was almost like tradition. It's not your time. You got to wait. Make sure you can't be the freshman year, even though I made varsity, I'm sitting the bench. Sophomore year, I started, but I wasn't average about 5 points. Junior year, the light came on. That's when me and Khalil started playing together. I'm like 13, 14 points, 13, 14 rebounds. So I'm feeling it. And then senior year is when, the doors started opening.
Right. And you're all state.
Right. All state. And really want to change my position because I came in 6'5" and I left high school 6'5", so I didn't grow no more. And people thought I was going to grow, but I stayed 6'5". I'm like, hold up, if I'm gonna play at the next level, Division I, or trying to go to the pros, 6'5" is like a guard now because it's 85 and players are getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let me focus on doing more dribbling and passing.
Okay.
And that was
And then you had a brief. So you were all state, and you went to a prep school for a bit, and then
St. Thomas More.
Right, and then Rutgers reached out to you with a full scholarship.
Full scholarship. I went to St. Thomas More, played for Coach Quinn. Great guy, great team. We went to the New England Prep School Championship the one year I was there. We lost in the championship, but still think about that. But Rutgers recruited me when I was in high school, and I was playing around academically, didn't get my work together. And they recruited me when I went to prep school, and I always wanted to go to Rutgers. So, it was a marriage already. We was already married. So I said, that's where I'm going. I didn't even I had other visits to take and all. I just said, there's no need to go to somebody's campus and lie. I want to be transparent growing up. I'm not going fake and go to the University of Hawaii for the trip. You know what I mean? Like, I just said, nah, I'm going to Rutgers, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great stuff. Yeah, I posted a picture of you holding the team picture from
Oh yeah,
87,
87,
88.
88.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
posted that
yeah.
yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to see those pictures when you
Yeah, I
walked
love
into
those
the
pictures.
rack.
Yeah.
They had that whole
Mm-hmm.
wall filled. They took that away, but there
Each
were some
team,
great
yeah.
teams. I used to stare. I'd go to a million games, and I would always
Mm-hmm.
stare at those pictures. Each
Mm-hmm.
bunch of guys, and the history. The
Mm-hmm.
rich history that Rutgers had. It was a rich history. It wasn't necessarily a successful history. Now,
Right.
by the way, they're number 24 in the country today.
Right, which is good. The
That's,
thing I hate, every time we get ranked, we lose the next game.
yeah,
So
I
I'm just hoping
know.
we win the. Let's just stay ranked for a week.
I know.
Just stay ranked for a
I
week.
know. Hey,
But
listen,
Michael doing a great job with the guys.
and
Love
sometimes
what he's doing.
I hope they don't get ranked because they don't get that
So
jinx.
we always stay the underdog and play well from
Yeah,
that
yeah.
perspective.
But
But it's time to step into that zone of expecting to win. So I think that's coach did a good job instilling that the mental side of the game. Like every game we go into, we can win it.
yeah,
We have to think before
beat anybody. Yep,
years ago, you knew all right, how much we're gonna lose by. Let's just cover.
I know.
So now it's like,
Hey,
nah, we can.
Reggie, I've been sitting in the rack for 28 years.
Oh,
Uh,
you're a vet.
I'm a vet, and I felt the pain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, hey, it is what it is. We could talk about that for hours, but we
Right.
won't.
We won't
So
do that.
you have a 5-second career at
Yeah.
Rutgers. Tell me about that.
Rutgers was good to me. I went to Rutgers. I had to sit out a year academically. So now I'm ready to go. People from Orange ready to come and see me. My family's hyped. My game got better, but I just was, for a year not playing. You couldn't legally work out with the team, but I'm around the players all the time. We playing in summer league games and stuff, and I'm showing some stuff that okay, I'm here, I'm arriving. And practice was going good for about a month. I had Coach Littlepage at the time before he left. And we in practice and we went for a loose ball. And me and the gentleman, Darren Campbell, he was starting. So, you trying to get his spot. Great guy from DC thing. And we bumped shoulders like diving for a loose ball, sort of when you bump shoulders. When I hit the ground, I just felt whenever most people don't understand how to feel when you become paralyzed from a hit of a fall or something, you can feel the the feeling leaving your body. And it's almost like somebody pulling down on your body and it's all leaving. It's in slow, even though it's happening fast, it seemed like it's a slow motion that somebody's like sucking the movement out of it. So I was paralyzed there from my neck down for about 45 minutes.
Wow.
Ambulance came, this and that. We go to the hospital. I started getting my movement. Actually, that was the third time I was paralyzed from playing basketball. Once in the 7th grade, 11th grade, high school. That's when I was, winning dunk contests and all that stuff. So I tell people dunking is dangerous because if you go up high, you got to come down. If you come down wrong, that could be an issue. So at home, I fell at Orange High School and was paralyzed and sat out some games for about 2 weeks. And back then, the MRI wasn't even out. They just said because I'm falling on my buttocks. But when you fall on your buttocks, you shift your neck too. So Rutgers had the money when I fell there. They're like, all right, we got to study him from head to toe to find out what is this genetic issue here. And they figured I had something which was new called cervical stenosis. It was new to the sports field and medicine. Kessler and them was talking about this new phenomenon that they're noticing because you cannot see stenosis on a regular X-ray. You have to see it on an MRI. Those 16 images, you could tell somebody have a narrowing. That's what stenosis is, the narrowing of. And my spine up in my neck area should be about 15 millimeters wide. When I'm at Rutgers, it's probably like 7 to 8 millimeters wide, so it's half diameter that it should be. So my spinal canal gets through, but it's already touching. Yours is like this, mine is touching. So any hard fall is really it's scary. At any moment I could take a bad blow and be done. So Rutgers, that happened. They said we got good news, bad news. I said, all right, give me the bad news. Said, bad news, your basketball career is over. And I was like, what? And they said, but the good news is you stay here till you graduate. And they didn't have to do that. Rutgers could have took me on scholarship that May, and that would legally they wouldn't have been bound. But they felt sorry for me that I went through all the struggles academically to get back eligible to play, and I was ready to play. Stayed at home, committed to Rutgers, and I was a Rutgers guy since '79 with Bailey and them, in the
I
Final Four with
know.
Eddie Jordan and them. So I
Right.
grew up, back then there wasn't no ESPNs and all that stuff. Rutgers was it. And actually, I grew up down the street from Seton Hall. I ain't got nothing against Seton Hall, but I always been a Rutgers guy.
Right.
And it just happened, and I knew I had to regroup. I had to change. I had to find like what is that thing in life that I really want to do. And I started after that. I felt, you feel bad a year, but everybody gave me love. Everybody felt sorry for me. I took advantage of that. At times, everybody's like, "Oh, Reg," I'm like, "Yeah, I'm feeling bad." They're like, "Come with us, go here, whatever." So I was spoiled a lot in college. But then once the real world come in, it's like, all right, what I'm gonna do? And one thing I knew, Orange always gave me love. The city you grew up in. And I was told one time when I was young, you should work where you're not where you're tolerated, but where you're admired. You should work. And I said, wow, I need to be back home where I got love. And I know I got love through basketball, but basketball is over, but they still love me. So I came back to my hometown and just, all right, what can I started substitute teaching. Then they had this program called Brotherhood through Rutgers University, which is actually UMD and J, then became Rutgers University. It's a life skill class for boys. I got hooked like the first couple of weeks. I saw the guys there. I know they was in need of mentorship. I'm a young guy still, immature, not knowing. I'm thinking I'm gonna do it for 2 years. 10 years in, I'm still feeling it. By year 15, a lot of my students of violence and everything, Orange changed. It took a more of a violent path, and a lot of my kids was in the middle of a lot of these factions, a lot of the murders and stuff. I'm at funerals, and they pulling on me like, Miller, what can we do? I said, yo, let's rally. So we started having more rallies. Next thing you know, I'm an activist, not even knowing, I didn't plan to do this, but it seemed as if someone had to step up on a young male's behalf. And I was good at that. I was the guy that always listened to them as opposed to dictating to them. I listened, and it became a partnership. Some of the guys now, I've been doing Brotherhood 25 years. Some of the guys don't even know I play ball till they go to the high school and be like, yo, my name in the gym. They're like, yo, Mr. Miller, you play ball? I'm like, yeah, I was kind of nice. They're like, no, my father told me you was. I'm like, oh. Wow. So I know fathers and grandparents because I'm an OG now. I'm 55, so I grew up around here. So yeah, and the kids give me love. They're like, Mr. Miller, you know everybody, and I always tell them, if you live in an environment for more than 20 years and you don't know everybody in that environment, you playing. Like, why are you there? We supposed to treat each other like, these my neighbors, that's my brother. And I live by that.
So Rutgers, they hugged you and they gave you love in the community, and then you graduated with a degree in sociology, which helped you do what you do.
What I'm doing
Funny,
now.
You were kind of quiet back in the old days, right?
Kind of quiet?
Yes. And then you went from being kind of quiet to being this leader, this mentor.
I didn't see that. I was a class clown, that guy, playing around, but not the leader with a mic in my hand.
Right.
This a guy who used to stutter when I was little. So I never thought I would speak in front of people. It's all about transformation. It's all about perspective too. I was doing Brotherhood for so many years. Then about 7 years ago, our teachers come to your district, they transfer, they leave, they go to South Jersey, North Jersey, hey, Miller, they saw how I was with young men. Could you come talk to our young men here? And then they went to, could you come to our church? And then they went to, could you speak at this banquet? And I was like, what? My father said, listen, you're going to speak at the family reunion. And I was like, nah, I can't do that. We got ministers in our family, this and that. I'm like, nah, he like, you're doing it. So I just, all right, my father spoke, you got to do it. And that was the best speech I think I ever gave. And I was hooked. And I said, I love to be up there. And it was probably one of the only things that gave me that same rush of playing ball back in the 80s. You're in front of people, you're performing, you're getting either they like you or they don't. So if you go up and speak in front of people and you're trying to motivate them, you're doing a good job or you're not. And I hang my hat on my abilities. So I said I want to get in front of people, and I'm just glad my father pushed me out there because I didn't want to do it.
Right.
But I said, yo, you got to do it. And now I'm just blessed. I love getting the phone calls to go here, to speak. We need somebody to come in. My mentors in this game of speaking is like politically Larry Ham, that's doing thing with the People Organization Progress. I love Professor Kafele out of New York. He's a speaker now. He goes around doing a lot of stuff with schools around the country, and just the guys I knew that played ball. That would be the Tim Perrys and them. They talk Lee Perry. Lee Perry played for Rutgers. He was a great player too, and we're good friends now. They didn't see I would be doing this, but they like you're the perfect person to do it. Because once I tell my story about, hey, this what happened, I'm on, I stood up from being paralyzed 5 times. That's not easy to do. And I was blessed.
Wow.
So you want to take advantage of, the gifts you have. You have gifts, take advantage of them. And that's what I'm at.
And you just navigated the world, and the world opened up. So let's so you started with the Brotherhood, which you've been doing now for 25 years. Describe 25, right?
Yes. Brotherhood is a life skill class in Orange Orange Preparatory Academy now. 7th, 8th grade boys, now 8th grade. I've been working with 5th through 8th for like 25 years.
Wow.
I know the kids.
Wow.
I know the parents. I know grandparents. So it's easier for me to do the program. It's a life skill class. You talk about sex, drugs, religion, anger, depression. One thing I've been doing a lot of research on, and I'm gravitating towards, how bullying got big in school, and social emotional learning and things like that got big in school. But this new one, ACEs, I really like that, adverse childhood experiences. And it breaks down your environment, how you grew up, dictate who you will be when you get older. And for me, doing Brotherhood, I already knew if a kid is in a household, his mother's on drugs, father alcoholic, he's in a tough spot because he's probably going to fall in one of those traps, especially growing up in the inner city. So I knew it was something I really wanted to look into, and I teach that and talk to young people about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and how to get around certain things and how to maneuver in the inner city. I think that's extremely important. And the guys know I'm transparent. I tell them all my weaknesses. Most men talk about their strengths. I talk about my fears with my kids and how I have to walk towards the fear. I don't talk about when I scored 30 points in high school. I talk about the foul shot I missed at Montclair High School for us to lose the game. You know what I mean? Like that's what's in my head.
Right.
When I made mistakes, I don't remember when the triumph a lot. I remember mistakes.
So you're doing the Brotherhood, and that led to RM Motivation.
Yeah, that's my
brother. And I spent a chunk of time digesting the website and the things you do, and to me it's a wow, because you're on top of so many. You briefly discussed some of the things, but at RM Motivation, I mean, you do workshops, and you speak at a million different places.
Right.
By the way, I could never do getting in front of a bunch of kids like that. I mean, that's just hard. But you talk about tolerance, the importance of parents. This is great stuff that should be done. Self-esteem, bullying, gangs, substance abuse, lazy lying, limited liability at 4Ls. And this really got to me, because so few people and organizations spend time wherever on food and nutrition, and that was born out of some of your own personal.
Yeah, you want me to tap doing, and we had tragedy in our family. My sister passed away from lupus in 2004. And she was the youngest. She was the baby girl. So the baby girl, my mother and father still living. My brother, two older brothers living. I'm not playing. I'm at the school. Everybody's working. Everything's cool. And I knew she was diagnosed with lupus at age 19. So she had like a 10-year battle. We never thought she would, one day pass away. So she passed away from it, and it rocked the core of our family. So about 8 months later, I'm not feeling well at school. I kept catching a cold, my nose running. I'm like, oh, let me go. I go to school nurse. She said, you need to go to get the blood work done. It could be anything. I said, all right, I'll go get the blood work, go see Dr. Body in Livingston, a blood specialist, great guy. And he saw my counts and he just started pressing down. How doctors press on your chest, your stomach, they say cough, chest, and his hands went straight to where the tumor was. I had a neuroendocrine tumor about the size of a grapefruit. It was behind my stomach, on my stomach. It's more towards my pancreas. And you have to press in my stomach to feel it. And they knew I had to get this removed. They didn't know I took a biopsy, 2 biopsies that both were inconclusive. And I said, hey, listen, they were like, listen, it's big, let's take it out anyway. And when they took it out, they knew that it was cancer. It was cancerous, but it was all in one piece. So I'm blessed that I had the easiest scenario with cancer, which is surgery. If you have surgery and get rid of cancer, that's the easiest scenario dealing with cancer. God bless one of my friends going through it right now, Constantine Taylor, I grew up with. He's battling cancer right now, but he's doing well. And I went to see him in Boston yesterday. That's why it's hitting me with the cancer. And my best friend, we battled the same stuff. You know what I mean? I went through it, so now I have to help him and encourage him and know that he can definitely get through it. I got through. 24 staples on my stomach. I'm out of work for a month. Couldn't lay on my stomach for 5 months. I was in bad shape, but I was blessed because I knew I had a second chance, fighting chance. Then I figured out, because a lot of people know that I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm not no foreign substances. I'm good. I don't want it. But the doctors at St. Barnabas and them, they wanted to know, like, how did this cancer come about? What factors can we equate it to? And then it looked like I ate so much fast food because I'm an older guy, no kids, didn't get married. So you know how it is, a bachelor. Are you cooking every night? Probably not. So I was eating. I'm near Central Avenue, fast food capital of Jersey, and I would eat different fast foods all the time, and it can catch up with you. Now, and that was in '05, so I'll say about 2010, you saw a shift in the American food industry towards the veggie and the veggie burgers. And this. Now I'm a pescatarian for about 5 years now, so I'm feeling good that way. So I'm working my way to being a vegetarian or vegan one day, but I'm doing better than I was. And so it's a process.
It is so important to get the kids, you're a role model, and to get the kids, the whole food and nutrition thing. I like to think of myself as a poster boy for proper nutrition. In 1975, I stopped eating red meat.
Mm.
No red meat.
2000 for me. Yeah.
So what happens is I haven't had red meat 40 years, and so
Right.
it was a commitment to being humanitarian and animals and the environment. But it was a wonderful thing because I just had my coronary arteries checked a couple of years ago from Rutgers doctor, and it came back 0 coronary artery plaque.
Wow, that's great.
So there's nothing here and there's nothing up here. So the blood flows up here and it keeps me sharp. I'm an old guy.
You look good.
And nutrition is a lifetime undertaking.
It really is.
And you're teaching that to kids, and it is so important because you're a role model. You can get to them. You can, you can make them aware. You're aware. It's so valuable. And again, the things you do, at the Brotherhood and the RM Motivation, it's rmmotivation.com. People should definitely check it out.
Check me out. Yeah.
It's so fascinating. And a lot of things you do is done in coordination with Rutgers Medical School.
Right. I've been working with the medical school. Well, UMD and J, then Rutgers took over years ago. And they helped me, gave me the opportunity. And they'll look over like if like next month I'll always give them what I'm doing the month before. This is what we'll be talking about. I have access to doctors that will come in and do some workshops at times. So if I'm talking about marijuana, I might give the technical side, and then they will give the layman's terms of what marijuana is. I know you see I'm in the inner city now. You hear the ambulance in the background.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I'm here. This is where I'm at. I'm here every day, just giving.
And a lot of that carries over to Orange Public Schools.
Right. So bringing it back to Orange, most guys don't never have. I've never seen a real medical doctor. Some of the guys, they don't have a family doctor. You go into a clinic. So I bring in the doctors and any subject matter. Then at least they get to know and meet and talk to a physician from Rutgers University, which makes it a win-win.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And again, and some of that transfer to A Few Good Men.
Right. And this was got me probably around 2010. I was saying, wait a minute. So now I'm sitting at the round tables through activism and being around Orange, and now I'm older. People want you to run for political, be a council, be a mayor. This and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm staying in my lane. But I'm sitting at the table with mayors, police directors, fire chiefs. And I'm like, at the time, they wasn't getting along. Everybody pointing the finger at everybody. So I said, listen, our kids are having an issue in Orange. Why don't we create a group where A Few Good Men, we can have it's for the kids, but I have about 25 men on the list. And if we do a workshop, let's say 10 men will come out. And if we do it on Saturday, we'll be in the gym playing ball, listening to a couple of speakers. But the Few Good Men was created to get the mayor, the police director, and the mayor, police, and the superintendent of schools. Those are the three most important jobs in Orange. So they should be on the same page. So if I'm doing something on a Saturday morning, they have on a sweatsuit without the tie and stuff. Right. We all having fun. You could bring so-and-so in the corner and y'all can have a private quick meeting as opposed to waiting for email and this and that. Just creating that brotherhood, that kinship to say, hey, look, we can flow together as opposed to being stuffy and apart, And it helps. It helps.
Yep,
Definitely
sure
helps.
does.
And the boys see men. I want the guys some of the guys in our program, they don't have a man's phone number in their phone. They only got most boys in the inner city don't have 3 male phone numbers in there, over 30 years old, grown men in their phone.
Wow.
They got their grandmother, godmother, aunt, all these women, but no men. And you got to have men around you for young men, obviously. You got to have somebody around, mentors, role models.
And that's what you do.
I try.
And I've seen some pictures. The kids are so glued. I saw one picture. It was in black and white, and your back is facing it, but the kids.
That was at a basketball camp. Yeah,
they're so attentive.
Yeah, one of my mentors, Ed Butler, who really helped me a lot. He went to St. Orange graduate, played ball for St. John's. He was a playground legend and stuff too back in the day. But he took a liking to me when I was in high school, and he mentored me and got me to prep school, St. Thomas More, got me to Rutgers, and never wanted nothing. My mother he would rent cars and do it. My mother, and he just did it from the kindness. He just did it because.
Nice.
And I think one day we were talking, he said, Reg, you have to pay it forward. I'm helping you, you have to help somebody else. So my mission when I came out of Rutgers was I have to get 3 people to graduate from Rutgers. I have to help them in any way, drop them off, give them, whatever, buy them books, whatever. And I tell each one of them, all right, you got to get 3 to graduate. So that 3 turns into, every time somebody graduates, you got to get 3 to come through these doors. So that's been my mission. So I always, get some kids from Orange down there, RU, every year. Yeah.
Absolutely great.
Mm-hmm.
And again, in studying, I studied up on you. I saw pictures with you in Cornell West.
Oh yeah, my
Bill
uncle.
Clinton.
Yeah, my by marriage, my uncle Jeff Canada, who run the Harlem Children's Zone, one of the top charter schools in America. He came up with a lot of those concepts in the early '80s. So he was like one of the first guys to really put his neck on the line. And then when the Harlem Children's Zone grew up in New York, he was on Oprah. Bill Clinton came there. Bill Clinton wrote a book, I believe, in '07, and he did the launch at his school. You know, Bill Clinton's over in Harlem now and stuff. So um, Uncle Jeff, I would go over and he would rap to me and tell me how, you know, just with boys and how I did things. I never looked at the celebrities that come in, and I remember my Uncle Jeff would give me little jewels like don't expect, you know, LeBron and them to come through that door to save you. It's not gonna happen. Those guys play on TV. That's what they. So a lot of celebrities don't come back. You have to work with what you have to make it happen, and that's what I try to do. You know, I work with what I have. You know, limited budget, but I'm getting speakers. I'm doing. You know,
Yeah.
I always do little like we're not like I could easily get a bus and try to raise money to go to Great Adventure. I'd rather get a bus for free and then we go to an AIDS walk or we go to March of Dimes walk or something. You know, we doing something
Right.
social, political, or social, something that's, you know, helping your environment. But I love teaching the boys about community service and cleanup projects and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Just
so,
to, you
it's
know where it's
so,
rooted from. You know where this is rooted from, Swords, I think. When I was at Rutgers, right? And you would always know if somebody was from Newark because they was boisterous. And they was, you know, Patterson, the Trentons, you know, you get the people kind of boisterous. But Newark, you knew Newark. And it was like, yo, I'm from Newark. And I was like, you know, I had to adopt that mentality being from Orange. So I used to stick my chest out and be like, yeah, I'm from Orange. What's up? And it seemed like I want to put that in the kids I teach. Be proud where you come from.
proud.
You know what I mean? Because without on, it's no you. And we have some tough stories? Yeah, jail, murders, this and that. Yep, but we got a lot of success stories. A lot of kids that's, you know, doing great things. You know, play for the Giant. My boy Jay Alfred won the Super Bowl, and most people know about Jay because he's from Orange. He played for the Giants. He won the Super Bowl. Great in '07. But I got another kid that's a little younger than Jay. He's a professional artist now, Vaughn Spann. He was in my program.
Wow.
And I treat him just like I would look at Jay because he made the NBA, I mean, he made the NFL of art because now his works go for 50,000, 70,000.
Wow.
So he's the guy, you know what I mean? He is really the guy. So, and these guys from Orange. But my kids don't know about these guys, you know what I mean? Because they probably don't have commercials and this and that, but they did a great job. They made the city proud. And that's what it's about, you know.
Wow. I have to ask you an off-topic question.
Mm-hmm.
You can or cannot answer it. It's a one-word.
Uh-oh.
No, don't be scared. Don't be scared. I always like to ask this. So here's the question. Excluding family or friends, somebody living or dead you'd like to spend a day with.
Including family and friends. Wow.
Excluding family and friends.
That's easy for me. She passed away. I was a big fan of Phyllis Hyman. She's a singer,
Yeah,
and I would love to spend a day with her.
great
I
answer.
was, people don't know, she was really, yeah, she was that person. Because when I couldn't play, I guess I listened to her music. When I was going through my thing, and I always listened to her music, and she was a beautiful woman, and I met her a few times through Rutgers and Regina Bell.
Wow.
So it was a great connection, and she was cool, but she left here so soon. So if I could hang with somebody one day that wasn't
Great
my
answer.
family or friend, yeah, full time.
Great answer.
Yeah.
So we're winding down,
Mhm.
and I'm just letting everybody know as they're listening that right after we do an official end of your 19-minute documentary by Reggie Bullock,
Mhm.
Greatness 5 is going to come right on here that people can
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to wrap up with now, Reggie, before we kind of
First, I want to say thank you again, but I think my story, there's a lot of stories like mine, and I'm called a hero at times. But I think I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I think there were so many mentors around my neighborhood when I was growing up, and now that's obsolete. You don't see the men volunteering to be the coach. That's why baseball is gone in the city. Basketball is, the basketball courts are getting more and more, they dying out, and that's because you can't go outside. I'm a little nervous. My job is to bring bring that lifestyle back. It's okay to put your computer down and go outside and find ways to have fun without anything violent. Because we did, I grew up in an era where you had to go outside, so we had to, find this niche of who we are, and I want kids to trust that their name is important. Your last name holds some weight, and your family, your tradition is important. Because I grew up, that's that Miller boy over there. And I was wondering why they called me. I always wanted to call me Reggie, but I was my father's son. So if I did something good or bad, that's where he's gonna hear about it, good or bad. So I always wanted to make my family proud. And now I want kids to think the same way. Like, it's about the next generation. I want people to know that I put my head in the fire, and it wasn't bad. Even though the kids were violent, they were shooting. It was tough. I was in some. My brother was a police officer in Orange. He retired, and there were meetings that he called me and said, "You can't go to that. You can't attend this," because it was like maybe like a gang summit, something. That was really, they were trying to get together, and anything can go wrong, and he don't want me in the middle of things. But I had to tell my parents, tell my brother, "Hey, listen, I'm in the fight. I got to be in it," because they trust me. So if they trust me, I got to be there for them. So I always look at brotherhood. If I relate to somebody like you, Miss Ford, you my brother now, so we connected for life.
Correct.
Need something, I'm there. Especially your RU brother, stop it. Even though we're not a fraternity, but we're fraternal.
Correct.
We connected that way,
It's a great bond.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a wonderful bond.
Yeah.
Having an alma
No
mater.
color, no religion, none of that.
Nothing. It's just brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brothers in Rutgers. It's a wonderful. I'm so glad I took this journey. My journey began because my son was not an athlete. And I wanted some way to bond with him. And I was a bit of an athlete. I played basketball.
Right.
I mean, I was okay. I was asked to play for Rutgers Newark. I couldn't. I hadn't. But anyway, so just very innocently, I took him to a football game when he was 10, and he loved it.
Right.
The following year, I got season tickets for everything. I went overboard. Basketball, women's basketball, football.
Yeah.
And
you remember when you was going some good games.
I went to some great games. I saw, Cappy Poindexter, Essence Carson. I mean, I saw some great teams. I loved, and I traveled. They played in tournaments. I went. I was a loyal. It was great because I was out of the house going to Rutgers like about 80 times a year. And I never saw my wife, so we never fought.
That's true.
It's great for my marriage. Never around, so it was wonderful. But this has been great. Reggie, I want to, in any shape, way, or form, you can come back. We could do panels. You could bring whatever. I'm open to anything that you would ever want.
Just keep your platform going. Like I tell people all the time, it's needed. Everybody don't want to watch TV shows and this and that. You want to know about people. And I think that's more interesting. I think we learned that during COVID, that people are watching more podcasts than television shows now.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna keep it going.
Right. You keep the good people coming on.
I sure am. And I can't tell you how thrilled and impressed that I am with you. This has been so good for me. It truly made my day. It made my week. It made my month. And I'm so glad we met. And I got to thank Mark when I see him at the rack. I'll thank him. But come back, and we're gonna sign off. This was really amazing, and you're just an amazing person.
In the 80s, there were two nationally recognized high school basketball players, both similar in size and height, both named Reggie Miller. One Reggie went on to the Hall of Fame. The other Reggie's life changed in 5 seconds. Greatness 5 presents 5 Seconds, the Reggie Miller Story. Our story begins in Newark, New Jersey, aka Brick City. There are those that believe something special is in the water of Newark because so many extraordinary people were born in Newark, New Jersey. Reggie Miller was also one of those individuals born in Newark. 1967, during perhaps one of the worst inner-city race riots in American history, the riots of Newark.
Now, can you imagine? The police had horrifically beaten a black cab driver. The city went up in flames, all of Newark. Black people were fed up. Reggie's parents, Big Al Miller and Betty Miller, were stuck trying to figure out how to raise a family in the midst of the worst racial chaos in American history.
In a few years, the Miller family packed up and moved to Orange, New Jersey, where fate met destiny.
You know, I can't help but believe that it was absolute destiny for Reggie to play basketball. Think about it. He started growing really fast at an early age. And then to top it off, Reggie was born with like a 4th crease in his fingers, which gave him the ability to palm a basketball at a very early age. But I gotta be honest, and this is according to Reggie, the biggest impact on his life as far as basketball was his mother looked at him as this tall, gangly, awkward kid. And a mother's love is stronger than any love in the world. And she, in her mind, said, I don't want my kid being embarrassed. I don't want him going to the 5th and 6th grade dance, not being able to dance or being afraid to dance. She took her son in the living room every day and taught him how to dance. You see, it was more than dance. She was teaching this tall, awkward, skinny kid the ability to have agility and coordination. And that coordination would set him off.
Within 1 year of playing high school basketball, Reggie Miller went from 1 dunk in a season to 47 dunks the next year, averaging 20 points a game, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 67 block shots, and 61 steals. Reggie's greatest athletic achievement came when he attended the legendary 5-star basketball camp and held his own against the best basketball players in the country. And Reggie's star continued to soar. He became All-State New Jersey, nominated for the McDonald's All-American team, and the New Jersey Nets invited him to participate in the high school slam dunk competition in the Meadowlands.
Let me tell you something. Reggie was being recruited by major universities at that time. Even the great DePaul team wanted him to share backcourt duties with future NBA great Rod Strickland. But like most star athletes, Reggie's focus was on the games and having fun off the court, which temporarily hurt his career.
After graduating high school, Reggie decided to attend the basketball powerhouse St. Thomas More Prep School. Reggie became the chancellor's leading scorer, earning him a scholarship to Rutgers University.
When you talk about Reggie and his charm, I call it the Miller charm. Reggie was nice to every single person he met, and I dare to say Reggie probably never had an enemy in his life. He even made celebrities feel special. We're talking about Phyllis Hyman, Bobby Brown, Lawrence Taylor, Isaac Hayes, and he even got the legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to actually give a half a smile in a picture. And we certainly can't forget Reggie's Rutgers alumni partner, Bill Bellamy.
Reggie has the entire student body, teammates, coaches, family members, and the people of Orange waiting to see this kid perform at the highest level. And within 5 seconds, it was over. You are watching the Greatness 5 channel, feeling your history in minutes. Subscribe, share, and comment now. An accidental collision at practice jarred Reggie's back in a way that left him temporarily paralyzed. The only thing Reggie could feel at the moment was a tear rolling down his cheek. Doctors later told Reggie that he could be paralyzed for life if he were to continue playing basketball. His hopes and dreams of taking the city of Orange to the NBA was over. Reggie felt his soul was stolen from him. He felt like that awkward, skinny little kid again, but this time his mother couldn't dance away the injury or pain.
So what does a young man do when the whistles stop blowing, buzzers are silent, and he no longer can hear the balls bouncing and the crowd cheering his name? Total silence in what was a fun and exciting world. And to add to Reggie's pain, he had to live in the shadow of the other Reggie Miller.
And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line and hits it again.
For some reason, all of my heroes were people who were able to come back from tragedy. Malcolm X came back from being a hustler to a leader. Ali came back from fighting for his religious beliefs to a world champion. And Harriet Tubman not only made a comeback, but she actually came back hundreds of times to free her people. Reggie Miller was cut from the same comeback cloth. He was about to make a comeback.
Rutgers University honored Reggie's scholarship, allowing him to graduate. Through a slow process, Reggie realized that he had the power to go back to his community and make a difference. In order to inspire the youth in Orange, New Jersey and all around the state, Reggie created the RM Motivation Group. In Reggie's lifetime, he went from a shy, awkward kid to a leader of men. Reggie is popular on the speaking circuit because his message is simple. You can do anything you want with practice and motivation. Now showing on the Greatness 5 channel, when Cassius became Muhammad.
I can't leave you. I had 180 amateur fights, 22 professional fights, and I'm good as a girl.
You could literally taste the hate that Ali received from the media and the average American, but he didn't back down.
You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
Now showing on the Greatness 5 channel, when Cassius became Muhammad.
Until I went to 5-star
Five Star was the best camp at the time. This is before AAU blew up. And I think that was the best basketball I played consistent for a week. And I held my own against like Lebo and Boo Harvey. But when you go to Five Star, I'm 6'5". That's kind of short in basketball.
Yeah.
So I met Chris Washburn. These dudes 7 feet. And J.R. Reed, who went to Carolina. Holding my own against Billy King that went to Duke and the Nets.
Yep.
Billy King, Ferry, Dan Ferry, all these dudes. Lebo.
Wow.
Right. So I'm holding my own with these dudes. And I just didn't. To me, it was like, yo, man, I'm from Orange. Stop playing, man. I don't care who they are. And we just, we just did what we did.
Right.
So one thing that put me on the map, they had a one-on-one. They had a one-on-one competition, and I went to the championship with that. I played against this dude from Indiana. His nickname was Indiana Jones. His name was Kip Jones. He ended up going to Iowa, and me and him battled. He beat me in the one-on-one final, but that put me on the map.
During the early years of Rucker Park, crowds would assemble just to experience that one moment where a defender was brutally dunked on. Even to this day in urban cities, the crowd will possibly storm the court when seeing a great dunk. Reggie Miller experienced this feeling from his brother, who was his biggest fan.
So St. Benedict's is one of the top boys prep schools in New Jersey for bad. That's where J.R. Smith went. A lot of people went to St. Benedict.
Right.
So we had a play called North Carolina where I was just straight dunking, and he threw me the alley-oop, and Dooley was under me. I went up, dunked on him, and when I came down, my brother ran out the bleacher and came and gave me a hug on the court. And we got attacked. My coach was going crazy. Like, yo, what's going on? And my brother couldn't compose it. He was like, yo, my man, I was waiting. He was just waiting so long for me to, like, yo, it's time to do this. And he was wild like that, man. He'd be at my games. He was my number one supporter, man, and my worst critic at the same time.
On your back?
Yeah, he jumped, gave me a hug. He like, yo. So I go to senior year, come around doing my thing. AAU, we won the national championship. AAU 18 and under team out of Newark. We played against Glenn Rice and them down in Jacksonville, Florida. Yo, we just let him shoot. He had 38. We ain't know a big man could shoot like that because Glenn Rice is like 6'8". We like, yo, let him shoot. Yeah. He just kept hitting it. I practiced for a month and got hurt a week before the season started. I fell and was paralyzed in practice. Me and the guy was going for a loose ball on Darren Kemp because he was a starting 2 guard. I want his spot. We going for the loose ball. We dove for it. We hit shoulders. When I hit the ground, I felt, when you get paralyzed, most people never been paralyzed in their life. I was paralyzed from my neck down 5 times, and that was like my 3rd time. Yeah, that was my, and every time it was playing basketball. I'm at a much higher risk than the average human being. And Rutgers didn't want to take the risk of being liable for my injuries if I had to live the rest of my life in a wheelchair.
Right.
Man, when he came to tell the team I couldn't play, he started crying, the head coach. He just was like, put his head there, he was wiping, he was like, yo, I got sad news, Reggie Miller never played this game again. And they was just like, it went from, and that's just how it was over, and that was it. They said the one thing Betty Miller was cool with, they like, Miss Miller, he don't have to pay, he can stay here until he graduates. We'll pay for everything. Yo, my mother grabbed her pocketbook. She was like, I'm ready to go. All right. She already heard what she wanted to hear. Like, we ain't got to pay for school. We good. Rutgers gave me a big hug. I got so much love from the, not the basketball, though. I think it was the people in the community. Rutgers community gave me love. When you're paralyzed, you only talking to God because nobody else can help you. That's the only one can help you. Can't nobody else help you but God. So if you can't move from your neck down, and the only thing I felt was tears coming down my face. That's the only thing I could feel. I couldn't feel nothing else. And that's just weird. It's ironic because it's a weird feeling not to have feeling. Yeah. That's the ironic thing. A weird feeling not to have feeling. So you talking to God, you making all these false promises. God, I said, well, I'll be but I am a vessel for him. When I was at Rutgers and couldn't play, they got me a job working at the Police Athletic League at the projects. Mm-hmm. I grew up around the corner from the projects in Orange. So now, let me go back to where I feel comfortable down there.
those little boys gave me mad love. Even though I couldn't play, I'm like, I can't play at Rutgers. They like, yo, you played for Rutgers though.
Right.
They like, yo, could you dunk the ball for us? And they was hyped. They in the 5th grade, 6th grade, like, yo, you can jump that high. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't nothing. But I saw the magnitude of being there and listening to young people until I just went into this program, Brotherhood. They had in Orange, through Rutgers University, UMD Medical School at the time. And I was just doing it because it was a job. I said, man, yo, they got benefits. Like, yeah, let me do this for like a year or two. And it just kept, year 2 turned into 5 years, turned into 15 years. And this year is my 25th year of doing Brotherhood. I tell people, I teach my kids two things. Don't chase wealth. Wealth has to come from within first. You got to be rich inside before you get rich on the outside. City Council, they read a proclamation for me about Brotherhood, and the people that were there, not only my mother and father, but a couple of my former students came. And my cheerleader from high school came, her and her husband and stuff, and it was just like, wow, they like, Reg, we so proud of you. And I just didn't, because I always felt the work I do is what I'm supposed to do. It's nothing for people to tip your hat to. You know, it's just, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm supposed to do it. But they were telling me I didn't understand the tentacles and the fruits of what I'm doing is spreading and growing. Reg, remember I told you my mother didn't take me serious?
Right.
She started taking me serious when I took my job serious with these kids. Because she saw the fruits of it.
Yeah.
She would come hear me speak.
Right.
And she was just pleased, like, okay, you doing what I knew you were capable of. Now we getting somewhere. I always tell my kids, my man, I had so much fun without smoking weed and drinking.
Yeah.
I don't do it. I don't need, like I said, Reg, I never had a cup of coffee.
Right.
So I live I'm walking what I'm saying. What are you living for, man? What people gonna say about you when you die? What they gonna say? So I think you gotta spend time with quality people in your life and tell them how you feel about it.
Hi, this is producer Reggie Bullock. I cannot let this episode end without sharing a personal story about Reggie's gifts and his heart. About 11 years ago, one of my films was being shown to a group of middle schoolers at a movie theater in Newark, New Jersey. After the film was over, a group of the black students approached me to ask questions. As I answered their questions, Reggie, who was standing next to me, interrupted all questions to point out a shy black girl in the back of the group. Reggie said to her, "You have the most beautiful skin I've ever seen. Be proud of your skin color, my sister." All of the kids stopped and observed the pure beauty of her dark skin. And for that one moment in time, Reggie Miller made everyone feel proud of their skin color, especially that shy little girl who simply displayed a prideful smile. That's Reggie Miller.
You are watching the Greatness 5 channel, filling your history in minutes. Subscribe and comment now.